morning to you if you live in the Pacific Northwest type area, California. I don't know where exactly the border, let's see, where would that be? Nevada, maybe somewhere through there. That would be the cutoff for Pacific time. Good morning if you're in Pacific. Good late morning if you're in Central, Mountain time, all that area, and good afternoon if you're in the East Coast. And furthermore, if you're across the pond or any way that way or any way in Singapore, you're just in the future somewhere. I don't know, you're like, what, Singapore, like 15 hours or something. And then Eastern Europe, Russia broadly, stuff like that. It's got to be 8, 9, 10, 12 hours somewhere through there. So welcome to the show. I'm Max, RHMax channel. Today we have a guest. Usually we have a guest, don't we? We have a guest today. His name is Jake Sharpe, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about. It's going to be good. It's going to be super not serious. It's going to be some serious. So from time to time, we got to get you some good information, but we're going to have some fun too. What's up? Got Kaiser's in here. Appreciate it. Again, share the link. Share the link in the Telegrams, on Twitter, everywhere. Let's get some good questions in here today too. I don't know why I say it, because everyone always brings good questions, and I don't have an attendance problem or anything like that. But just a reminder, if you haven't shared it already, send it out there. Get more people in, the better. Even the trolls, we have some trolls from time to time, and I try to turn it into positive energy. We have one who comes in here and just says a bunch of stuff, and sometimes they have a point, and we try to address those points too. So it's good. We turn any of the trolling into positive energy. That's what I like to do. What's up, tea time? Tea time. I like it. I like the pun there. If you were going for that, tea time. So many streams all the time. Yeah, no, I just saw you on GRC stream. That's true. I just saw you there too. David Feeder, what's up, man? Happy Friday to you, sir. Happy Friday to you. Well, without further ado, welcome, Mr. Jake Sharpe.
Yo, what is up?
Man, I'm excited. I got my morning workout in. I feel like I should have a little more caffeine, but you just looking at your smiling face and your energy you're bringing, your stretching you were doing a second ago is getting me pumped up. So I was like 75%, and now I'm like 92%. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, energy is everything. I do a lot of energy stuff, man.
Man, it's I think physical exercise really energizes you. A lot of people, they think the opposite. They think, oh, you're going to get tired. Oh, I don't want to get tired today. No, if you do it, it's going to like enlighten your mind, your body. It's going to be like, things that stay in motion tend to stay in motion, that type of thing. So it's actually one of those unintuitive things that most people don't get.
Dude, 100%. I actually just came back from the gym like an hour ago. Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. See, you're in it's a little later your time, so you're doing I guess the evening exercise. So some people like that. I like the morning too. But what is your typical exercise for?
Yeah, I just do it whenever I can. The last few days, like I told you, before the stream, like yesterday I had 16 and a half hours of screen time. So that's me sitting here for 16 and a half hours yesterday.
You just need a break. You're just like, I'm gonna go to the gym just so my eyeballs don't burn out. Like that's your good thing.
Yeah, very accurate. But I've been following you for a while, man. You've been going hard on the channel as well. Freaking respect. I mean, hard work deserves respect. Like Jim at Crypto, he's also going super hard. This community is something different, man. I mean, it's incredible. I love this community.
I can't do the daily show. I always tell Jim Rat, like I selfishly, I like seeing him in the morning. I like getting updates on news and having, guests and just things every day. I selfishly like that myself, but I don't think I could ever do that. I just can't. I have this. I want to have this like maximum, not the saying he doesn't have substance on the show. They go over a lot of really important stuff and a lot of cool, guests and like keep you up to date with things. But for me, I like to focus and produce and have that like trail of like research in it too. And they do a lot of this stuff too, but I just couldn't do it every day. So that kind of stamina. And I mean, I have, family, I have a job and all this stuff too. Maybe if you do it full time, you can do it, but there's a lot of hardworking streamers out there. And for me, it's just I always harken back. People ask, why do you do it? Why did you become a streamer? Why did you start the channel? Why did you do this and that? And I always think the first thing that comes to mind is Richard saying, people ask him, oh, what should we do? What should we do in the community? Blah, blah, blah. And I've been following him for 5 or 6 years before all this stuff. And I remember him saying utility. If there's one thing you can do, have utility. And I have a certain skill set. I have some time. I have a new project I can start. Why not go into streaming? Why not start a channel? Why not be, not only growing health, wealth, wisdom, but pump my own bags, all these things. It's a win-win situation. So have utility. If anything you can do out there that you want to make the community grow, focus on what like produces things, what matters, what actually pushes the message forward, and just utility. And that's what I try to bring to the show, at least.
Dude, I agree. Like one thing, like before we get into the show, that's all a big reason I also started my YouTube channel it was some random YouTuber, I think Crypto Power Talk or whatever. I was watching a video of him, and he essentially said the people who are early in Ethereum and became influencers in Ethereum before it was ever a full network and stuff like that, these are the type of people 5 to 6 years later that are fighting in politics and doing massive things in the world because they build up a reputation early on in an ecosystem. And at that point, everything clicked for me because I was going to wait until PulseChain launched. And even then I was like, because like the money part is basically handled once PulseChain is launched. It's like, so like starting this live stream thing, I was like, you want to have a network in crypto. Like network is your net worth in crypto. I'm a very big believer in that in this industry. In normal business industry, not really, because you can just run ads and stuff. But in the crypto, man, your network.
Real estate, I would say. Real estate would be maybe one exception where you're like, okay, you kind of need a network there, unless you're already crazy famous.
Exactly, but that was one of the big reasons I did it, because you just want to build a reputation early on of like, okay, these are smart guys. So that 5 to 6 years later, I mean, dude, this is going to be big, man. PulseChain will melt some
compound interest. You didn't even touch on compound interest and how you build things up over time, good and bad. So a lot of people think, oh, compound interest it's not. It could be bad too. You can have bad habits that compound, but if you get some good habits going and you produce material and you keep grinding like that, that's going to pay off over time, almost every time.
100%.
So, Money Gang, what's up, man? I was on there yesterday. If anyone wants to know, see somebody pick my brain about, why Richard Hart, why crypto, all these different things. Go watch Money Gang's interview with me yesterday. That was 2 hours of like, working me, man. It was fun, but I was like, all right, this is not all people ask me these questions. So it was really
He's a good interviewer. Yeah, I went on his channel as well. Like he asked good questions. I enjoyed that one for sure.
Yes. I didn't know what to expect coming on the show. And I knew the intro was hot. I was like, that's the best intro I've ever heard in my life. I told him I got it stuck in my head for a week. I was just like, gotta pump it up, gotta pump it up. And I was like, I can't, now I got it stuck in my head again. Damn. All right, before I start singing a song, let's go to your story, man. I know we talked a little bit before. I've seen you on streams before, but for myself, for people who don't know you so well, how'd you come up, with your name? I mean, I don't know if it's your real name or not, but how'd you come up with your name? How'd you get into crypto? How'd you get into Richard Hart products, semi-retirement, all that stuff?
Yeah, so ever since like 16, 17 years old, I was reading investing books. Like the first investing book I read was like The Intelligent Investor. At 16 years old, I was literally reading every page. I read the book like 5 times, highlighting Great everything. Book. Oh, amazing book. And so I, from a very early age, I got obsessed with like numbers and finance and being free from the system. Because at an early age, I was looking at my parents, and I mean, my parents are absolutely incredible, but I was like, this is not the end goal. This cannot be it. Working, then getting home, then making food, and then going to TV. I've always had this like very innate fire inside of me that like this is not what I want. And like without getting like super emotional or whatever, my mom used to be an alcoholic. She's recovered now. She's absolutely incredible. But I saw exactly what I did not want out of my life, because spending a lot of time in like nightclubs and like cafes and seeing people beat each other and people being depressed. I also worked in a casino and see people like come in every night, night after night, completely ruining their lives. So at a very early age, I realized this is not what I want my life to be. So essentially, I got into entrepreneurship in, I think that's roughly 18 years old. The first thing I kind of did, I became a software engineer, but I had like side hustles at that point. It always starts with a side hustle. So I was a software engineer for a while. I was a lead software engineer. I essentially taught myself how to write code in 4 months. I kind of mastered the skill. It's called meta learning. Maybe you've heard about it.
Meta learning?
It's essentially how to rapidly acquire skill sets. So I used that skill set to acquire coding. And I started working with startups. And the first position I got hired in was as a lead software engineer. And that usually requires like a couple of years and even like a crazy degree. Well, I taught myself how to code in 4 months, and I got hired in that position because my experience level was there. So it's a very important skill. I like it a lot. So I was software engineering first, kind of lead software engineer. I went from writing code to like managing a software team. After that, I started my own nightlife company, doing nightlife events for like 700 people, 500 people. And then the last one was like 3,000 people. But that was a horrible business model. That business went bankrupt, put me 50K euros in debt together with my business partner. We had zero a month coming in, like absolutely zero, nada, nothing. And essentially for like the next,
you need that to learn, right? You need the feedback, right?
Oh yeah, but it was extremely painful. We literally had debt collectors knocking on our doors trying to sell everything in our house. So we literally, me and my business partner, we took our office from the apartment and we put it into my dad's and my room that I had with my dad, so that they would not come in and sell our computers, because that was our way out. We started the marketing agency from that point. I was essentially crawling into a fetus position and crying myself to sleep. I had like an alarm, like Alarmy. It's basically an alarm where you have to take a picture of something to shut it off. So I would put it at 4 a.m. every morning,
smart.
and I would stumble through the hallway, go to the beach, like constantly speak things into myself. I basically had to talk myself into a psychosis. I don't like getting emotional, whatever, but just thinking about those times gives me goosebumps. Like I'm at the point where nothing really scares me anymore after that, because I was like, either I offline myself or I make it. Like that was it. Those were the two options. So that went very well. The agency made good money. Then I took that money and late 2019 went into crypto, and from that it was game over very quickly, because all my skill sets just aligned, and it was just a beautiful thing. It was just like everything you learn, every skill set, it just went into one, and that's when I hit the semi-retired mark. And that's essentially when the yield your portfolio generates funds the lifestyle that you want. Then I basically traveled the world for like a year and a half. Just all I did was train, date, and learn. And it got very boring after a year. So that's also where I started the YouTube channel. Yep, that's also where I started the YouTube channel, and now we're doing this, and that's a high-level overview of the story.
Wow. So when you say semi-retired, how is that different than retired?
So a retired for me is like FU money, essentially. That's like 30 million plus. Semi-retired is when you yield fund your lifestyle. I like having those two different targets.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's a more granular way of looking at it. Okay, I like that. I mean, I would say, my definition of retirement is like when you, I would say Naval Ravikant's definition of retirement is when you stop sacrificing tomorrow, stop sacrificing today for an imaginary tomorrow, for example. Like you keep like the constant grind. But also I would say to me, retirement is when you have FU money, but also you're not working for someone else. You own your time. You're able to do what you want on your own time. And maybe that's working all the time like you did before, but you have less distractions. You don't have, a boss calling you and telling you where to show up, what to do, all that stuff. So interesting. I like the way semi-retirement where you just basically living off passive income. Maybe almost 3/4 retirement. If I were to fit it in my definition, 3/4 retirement, maybe. So what's going to happen? So when you get rich, when you get real rich, when you get fully retired, when you have that FU money, what are your plans? Do you think how do you think your life's going to change?
I don't know. I feel like the reason I love Richard Hart is because when I started looking into him, he kind of spoke my language. We have the exact same personality type, like legit the exact same personality type. He's also like my same horoscope. I don't believe in horoscopes, but he's my exact same horoscope. So when I figured out about Richard Hart, I'm like, this guy is me. Like 20 years from now, he's massively inspiring to me.
So funny. I feel I have a similar feeling. It's so funny how you say that.
That's great, man. Yeah, because Richard, the dude's ambition is insane. He wants to start his own country. Just let that sink in. That is like ambition. So Richard Hart just kind of breaks your belief in what is possible. I mean, what he's done in the crypto space in 2 damn years, well, close to 3 years now, is absolutely insane. And that just shows you, if you have the right things and you focus on the right things and you make the right decision. I think Warren Buffett was the one that had this quote where it doesn't matter like how hard you row, doesn't matter that much. It's more important the boat that you're rowing in. Meaning that the vehicle that you use for financial freedom is a lot more important than working hard. Because you can work hard in a construction job and have a capped income. But you can work hard in crypto and have unlimited, obscene amounts of money. That's projects that make multi-million dollars. And the founders are absolutely retarded, but they just do it.
If you were to mention that quote to Warren in the context of crypto, he may push back though, right? Like, do you think if Warren was like 30 or 40, he would be able to see the parallels and the ability that crypto has for this kind of like legit wealth, not this like gambling type of thing that we see?
Correct. Yeah. So the thing with like crypto is, unless you spend 100 hours truly understanding crypto, your opinion does not matter. Because when you first look into crypto, it's like, this is a scam. None of this makes sense. Money out of thin air. But then when you truly understand it, you're like, this is it. This is the future.
Everything's out of thin air, in a way.
Fiat is the exact same. Yep. And that's when like a lot of people go through this like cycle where they're like, okay, crypto is a scam. And then they hear a friend talk about, hey, I make money in crypto. Then they look deeper into it. Then they realize, oh crap, the biggest scam is the fiat system. Crypto is not a scam. The fiat system is a scam. Yeah, like I think the book was like Creatures from Jekyll Island. That's like the book that opens a lot of people's eyes on like, oh damn, this is wrecked.
Yeah, that's a big book. I haven't quite been able to get myself through that one. It's thick, but I've read some of the summaries, and I know a lot of the core messaging. So it's definitely going to open your eyes. So yeah, I love Warren Buffett. I love Charlie Munger. They have so much wisdom, just investing in general. You know, obviously they don't know much about crypto, and they don't need to. They're not interested in it. They're already rich. But their ability to communicate mental models and different ideals, and I love them for everything else. But so when when you make it like that, like, do you feel like it? You know, I was on Money Gang. He asked me the same question basically, and I was like, I don't think much is going to change for me. I think I'll have less distractions, and I'll be able to focus on what I want to do more, and projects, foundations, things like that. Doing good in the world. A lot of the plans I have around that. But I don't think my day-to-day is going to change too much. But how do you see yourself, crypto rich? Yeah,
so one of the big ideas that I kind of want to share with everybody is the moment you have like X amount a month coming in yield after tax, your money doesn't matter at that point. So what you can essentially do is take a percentage of your stack, put it in a separate wallet, and then use the yield to fund operational expenses for charities. Because that's unlimited funding. That's a lot better than writing a big check. What would you rather get? 100 grand up front or 10K a month forever?
And tax benefits as well.
Correct. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. It's just like that. I like that idea a hell of a lot, because then investors don't have to put their principal at risk, and it's just free money, yield. And I think charity work, foundations, like you said. I mean, what else do you do when you're rich? You know?
Yeah.
Like rich.
There's only so many hours you can spend on the yacht. You got to be like, okay, it's always think this is almost not a paradox, but you see people who they work forever in a job, and you would say, oh, maybe their company does well, maybe they work in a company they work for them for when they were just really small, and now they're really big, and they have all kinds of equity, that they're millionaires on paper, all this stuff, and you say, why are you still working for them? And I always try to explain it like, because that's what they've been doing, like that's what they like that's the system they're in. They would have never stayed at that company that long, or put that much effort into it, or invest in this crypto or whatever, even, and you can analogize this to HEX a little bit. Like, do you think you won't, in 15 years, you think you'll still have HEX, PulseChain, stuff like this? Even when you're super rich, probably, because like that's what got you there. You would have never been there in the first place had you not been doing that for so long and been so adamant about staying in and all this stuff too. So it's just to me, it's so simple. Like I clearly looked through that question of like, yeah, because that's what they've been doing. Like, why would they retire now? That they stood there for a reason,
Yep. Yeah, exactly. I think the whole like, because like the question I kind of like asking people is like, okay, I'm going to take profit out of crypto, but then the question becomes, where do you go?
Yeah. What do you buy with it? That's the famous Drucker quote of like, and buy what? And buy what with it?
Well, exactly. So like when you go out of crypto, unless it's like buying a car and you have like a very specific goal or whatever, that's fine. But like when you take like $1 million out of crypto, where do you go? Real estate? Because I have a lot of like real estate guys that I talk to, and real estate is not as pretty as people make it seem, dude. Like a lot of people are, oh, real estate, this is this beautiful thing and nothing goes wrong. And then you get into it and you're like, oh, this is a very crappy business. And you can make a lot of money and there's a lot of tax benefits and stuff like that. That is fine. But if you want to make money, the best way to go without giving financial advice is crypto. It's the highest performing assets in the history of mankind. It's staring you right in the face. You just need to learn about it.
Yeah, it's and the Richard Hart products. Is there any better founder? Is there any better pump? Like, there's no other. People talk about Cardano. People talk about all these other coins and founders and things. And oh, they have all this stuff going on. And you're like, to me, it's like, why would you go anywhere else? Once you find the best, when you go to a restaurant and if you like hamburgers and you find the best place with the best hamburger, do you just like next time you want a hamburger, do you go somewhere else because I just want to try something else. I don't want the best anymore. For me, like, no, I want to go back to that place. That place has the best hamburger. I want to get that hamburger. So like Richard Hart products, you want the best crypto, this is the place to be.
I agree. Yeah, I actually spent like some time with Richard. Have you met Richard in person?
Not in person, no. I saw you had a picture of him. Was it UK meetup or something?
It was one of the meetups, yeah. And I actually I did a trick. So essentially, with the meetup, I left my jacket inside. So everybody kind of went outside. The meetup ended.
Strategic.
I was like, oh, yeah, strategic, because I've done the sales thing. So I went back inside. I picked up my jacket, and then I just started talking. It was like with two guys from the Crypto Spot book, his camera dude, and then there's Richard, and we talked for like an hour. I mean, he's just a normal dude, man. Like when he says he's in it for glory, he really is in it for glory. He doesn't beat it out the bush. This is not a lie. So at that point, my confidence level and Richard just went through the moon, because at that point, which when you look at him online, you don't know 100%. Even though you're like, okay,
especially these days.
Exactly.
2021 2 and beyond is way different than 2020, 2021, 2018, all that stuff.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So when I meet him in person, I mean, at that point, my opinion completely shifted. I'm like, okay, this is the guy. He wants to take over crypto and do it correctly. I like the fact that he operates by crypto's value, immutable, no admin keys, not your crypto. And like one thing I like about Richard now is the fact that he can do all of these victory dances. Alex Mashinsky, wrecked. Voyager, wrecked. Michael Saylor stepping down as CEO. I'm not sure about the details, but he's like.
Saylor may be going on to do something else. Saylor may be unchained now. He may be like Jesse from Liquid Ones. He's going to be like go off and do another project and be even laser-eyed in a different direction. So I think the jury's still out on Michael Saylor. But yeah, the rest of them, cases. Career ended on stream. I always think about that. The Australian Alex guy, career ended on stream. I'll never forget that tagline.
Oh, that was beautiful. Oh yeah, I remember that, man. The scammer getting scammed.
That was
he wanted to come on stream to call Richard a scammer, and then he got ousted. So dude, that was beautiful. That was
my favorite quote. Richard Mockton said, and I usually don't talk about people and all this stuff either, but the one quote I'll say from that interview that just made me crack up for so long and just laugh was, he goes, Alex kept saying, it's going to go to zero. The product's going to go to zero. When people stop buying, it's going to go to zero. And then Richard, like in Australian accent, goes, "It's going to go to zero, mate. It's going to go to zero, mate. Shut up. You're down, blah, blah." And I was like, one of my favorite clips of all time of Richard shutting down somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about. So fantastic.
I mean, it's crazy, man. Zero, mate. He's gone, right? He disappeared off the internet. He's got sued and stuff like that. I mean, it was pretty intense.
It's he disappeared for a while, and then he came back and like what did he do? Like one post with Ashton Kutcher and something like that. I remember seeing that, and then he just went away after that. If anyone wants to look up Alex from Australia, that guy, I forgot even his last name. Go look up.
Yeah, we shouldn't say it because risk diode. Remember that?
Oh yeah. But that looks funny. Go to Richard's channel. Look at the interview there if you want to see some funny stuff.
Yep.
It's gonna go zero. Okay, let's get technical. You want to get technical? You're a technical guy, right? Yeah?
Easy.
You know a couple things. Easy. All right. All right, get to the hardball questions now. What are the trade-offs for deflationary tokens? Like, what do you think works so well in favor of PLS, PLSX, stuff like that? What is the good part of that?
Yeah. So when you look at PLSX, for instance, PLSX, if you would design the perfect cryptocurrency, you would arrive at PLSX. Because the upside of having inflation in a cryptocurrency is the fact that you can place payout staking rewards to people, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is people buying and holding for a longer period of time. That is all that matters in crypto. Everything else is meme, like Richard Hart says. Yeah. So the reason staking works so well is you incentivize people to hold the token. So when you have a deflationary token, usually there are not any staking rewards linked to that. The fact that PLSX has staking rewards on a deflationary token is pretty much the best tokenomics you can ever get. So the only trade-off of having like a non-inflationary token is that you don't have the staking narrative to keep people in the project. But I'm not a fan of inflation, to be honest. HEX is the only one that can kind of pull it off, but most inflationary tokens are just wrecked. At the moment the hype dies down and the hype dies down and the narrative dies down, they have no tokenomics that kind of support the price, and they just print and print and print. Look at PancakeSwap. That's a perfect example.
Yeah. So HEX kind of has to inflate, right? I mean, for HEX to work in that system, it needs to inflate, 3.69% and all that stuff.
Correct. I think the actual inflation was 2.9%. I saw it on like a Wales only stream. Okay. And it's fine. Like HEX is the only one that can actually pull it off because it rewards stakers for protecting the price. But in most things, it's just like you get it every day and you can just dump down the price and it's infinite sell pressure. Same way miners work for Bitcoin or miners for Ethereum.
Right.
that was a big realization for me, like the way miners work and the fact that they are pushing so much sell pressure into the market day after day after day after day. And at that point, I was like, this is wild. Like you need this much buy pressure just to kind of make sure that the miners don't dump the price. So that's just break even buy pressure. And then you have to go above that to get price appreciation. That was a big breakthrough I had.
Yeah. So what are the criticisms of like why isn't every token deflationary? That we're going to run out of tokens, and Richard always said, if we do fork the network, add a zero, blah blah blah. If you have a high supply, is it just is that criticism more towards a low supply deflationary coins, or just low supply in general, or like what are the criticisms of high supply deflationary tokens?
Good question. I don't like that. There are arguments for deflation in economic situations, like countries and stuff like that, where it wouldn't really make sense, and there's some arguments to have there. But when it comes to like code and crypto, I think there is no downside to having deflation other than you don't reward stakers. But PLSX, you have both.
Yeah, so not rewarding stakers. So in deflationary systems like PLSX and stuff, we have staking, at least in PulseX, and does that kind of make up for some of the even the people point at it and say, it doesn't do this, doesn't do that, it's deflationary, this is going to go poorly, all this stuff. Does the staking aspect kind of make up for some of that stuff too?
I'm not sure. Has anybody ever said that with the deflationary thing? Interesting. What the hell?
I wouldn't know
I wouldn't know of any downside. Like the whole there will never be enough to buy on the DEX is dumb, because DEXs you can buy forever. You can literally buy 0.000001 PLSX for $1 million because it's just infinitely divisible. It's interesting, yeah. I never heard that argument. Yeah. In economies, it makes sense that deflationary could be bad, but like in crypto, man, I think there's only upside to it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Is it so? Are people people who aren't doing deflationary coins with high supply? Are they're just not in they just don't care about the fundamentals, or why isn't every new coin coming out with this type of stuff?
Good question.
Now the cat's out of the bag.
Exactly. The reason you need inflation in things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff like that currently is because it's proof of work, and you need something to reward the miners to protect the network. So you need inflation for rewards, but in other things you don't really need it. And like tokens like whatever these meme tokens and stuff like that, sometimes they try to create protocols that use some of the buy pressure to buy back the coin and make it deflationary. So they do kind of aim for that, but they do it in like a Rube Goldberg kind of way. It's interesting. It's a good question.
You see things doing an add-on to low supply, maybe PLSD may be an example, low supply, and now we have staking to try to do some kind of not buyback, but put some more fundamentals in there or fundamentals, and then with Hedron and Icosa. You sort of have this, we need stake, we need another token, we need to pay people and other things, and this game, almost like circular game theory in a way. Interesting. Yeah, I can't think of a lot of things either, man. So how do you? That's kind of a good question to think about too. I'd be curious, how do you evaluate coins? How do you, product market fit, virality, short term versus long term, best found? How do you evaluate when you're looking at a new token? Whether we know Richard Hart products, you use them as examples if you want, but even community projects that you may be interested in, how do you evaluate them? What kind of metrics?
Yeah, so one thing I'm kind of big on is I don't invest into anonymous founder projects, because statistically the rug pull rate is a hell of a lot higher on anonymous things. And then people come like, oh yeah, but public founders rug pull as well. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like this. And you have so many rug pulls of anonymous founders. And so I don't like anonymous founders because when it comes to psychology and stuff like that, if somebody does not have the name attached to something, they really don't care. And the moment it becomes hard, they can just run away and nobody will find them.
The Rich said the other day was that some scams you don't even know they're scams yet, where it's so easy if you're an anonymous founder too to be like, oh, it's just too hard, I guess we're just gonna dump everything or whatever.
Yes, correct. Yeah, because if you do it and you link your name to it, you are incentivized because it's your identity. This is who you are, so you might as well make it the best as you humanly can. So with anonymous founders, I don't like it. And people can invest in it, and I'm fine with it. I'm just not personally doing it. And then you have tokenomics as a massive one. I hate hyperinflationary tokens. Hate. The only way you can make money on them is if the hype narrative is strong enough. And then it's literally just a 3 to 6 month play, and that is it. And you get your ass out. Otherwise, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Look at the pancake swap chart as the perfect example. Yeah, exactly. Because pancake swap was just hyperinflationary. Then you have, so tokenomics is massive. If you can have a deflationary token where you can earn yield, has a public founder with a strong track record, has a roadmap coming up. So roadmaps are like iffy for securities laws. But like, for instance, in the PulseChain ecosystem, we have the PulseChain launch coming up. We have the documentary coming up. I mean, the documentary is awesome, man. I'm hyped to see that. So you want to have catalysts going into the future and a narrative around the project that stays true forever. PulseX, it's a DEX that has intrinsic value that will be around forever. PulseChain is a blockchain that has intrinsic value that will be around forever. HEX is a yield-bearing asset. Yield-bearing assets, everybody likes yield, so yield will be around forever. So you also want to have a narrative around the actual project where you're like, okay, this is something that Richard taught me. What was it called again? You want to have default alive decisions, where if you completely forget about the decision that you make, your default is that you stay alive and you end up winning. So if you can have more default alive decisions, you're probably going to end up very, very, very rich in like 5 to 10 years from now.
I like that. That's a great mental model. I like that.
I like that a lot. The moment he said it, I'm like, that makes so much damn sense. Default alive decisions.
Yes.
Yep. So those are a couple of things. So
you see what my retirement plan is.
Nice.
I forgot to bring it up when we were actually talking about retirement, but yeah, I love this shirt. It's one of my favorite ones. Although nobody can see it half the time. But
what is your retirement target actually?
I
mean, you're wearing numbers. A t-shirt.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I usually don't disclose exact numbers.
Okay, so how do you define retirement? Is it based on yield monthly or?
Yeah. Okay. That's a more palatable question. I would say it's based on, of course, some kind of passive income, something that will, I can keep my expenses lower than X number, things like that, and have, it coming in. But that could be spread across the different assets. That could be crypto, that could be real estate, that could be, I don't know if I ever trade stocks again. It's just, always reminds me, Richard said baby gains. I'm like, why even when I see a stock, I'm like, oh, I really like this company. I know it's going to go up. Like, it's a sure bet. And then like 10 seconds later, I'm like, but you're in crypto. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't think I can ever trade stocks again, funny enough. Yeah. And just the ability. So, it depends on how many people you have, if you have a family, if it's just you, or if it's just two of you and things like that, what you want to do, where you want to live. Do you want to live in a cabin in the woods? Do you want to live in a mansion? Do you want to live on a boat? Like, you got to like kind of form your plan around what you're going to do. And some people are fine, being rich and living a super simple life. Some people, hey, you're going to have to grind some more if you want to, be financially independent and then use your wealth, throw your wealth around a little bit. If you want to go to visit castles and get paintings of yourself, you're going to need to really grind for a while until you get to that, that 2X number. Like, whatever your minimum is, I would say it like this. Come up with your minimum number to say, okay, I can quit my job at this number, or I can, I know that I want to work again if I live a simple life with this number, and then say, okay, am I cool with this? Am I cool with just enough to get by, have my expenses paid for, put my kids through college or whatever you want to do, and then say, all right, how much do I want to live a baller life? Do I want to travel? Do I want to do these things that take money and are going to take over time? And even if you got your expenses, even if you're like, okay, I'm staked for 15 years, I'm going to be in PLS forever. I've locked it up and, I locked it away for a long time. I'm not going to touch it and all these things because, the chart says price go up. Maybe double it. Maybe you triple it. Maybe that's your target because you need a buffer. Of course, so you're in your minimum, you should have a huge buffer anyways. But I'm saying if you want to live, depending on your lifestyle, you need to double or triple your minimum. That's one of the ways I would look at it.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
My earbuds just died.
Oh, that's all right.
Really good.
You can hear me again though, right?
Yep, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. How would you come up with that? How would you describe that?
So you switch over. Okay. I want to live a pretty crazy life. So for me, currently, it's a bit different. I want to have a fleet of supercars and stuff like that. I just want to live all out. But not everybody.
10x the minimum. 10x the minimum from you.
Yeah. So like, it just depends, because maybe I get the supercars and I just sell them because I don't care. You know, who knows? But I do want to kind of experience the most we can in this physical life, at least the positive things. Not like I'm not sure if I can even say it on stream, but like sex workers and drugs. I am never gonna touch that ever once in my entire life. But all the positive things.
We just got demonetized. I'm just kidding. I don't monetize, so it's cool. You can say whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, I know how the algorithm works, so it's like some things I can't say. But yeah, all of the positive experiences, you know, one of the big goals I have, and I'm very close to getting there even without PLS, is putting my mom on retirement. So taking the amount that she makes every month and 3xing it and just paying her that every month from yield.
It's an excellent idea. Take care of your family, like especially your parents and stuff. That's something so noble and so just like good morally that you can do to pay them back. And just if you can pay off your parents' house, or you can pay off their, you know, get them into retirement early, just if you can afford it, do it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Only good can come from that most of the time.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, that's why I like Eastern Europe a lot, because there's still these values here of like if the sons or the daughters make it super big, the first thing they do is support the family. It's like a very US thing to be extremely selfish and not care about your mom and stuff like that. So I like this community aspect, because think about it. I mean, your mom put you on this planet. She took care for you for like literally probably 18 years, living in the house, cooking food for you, probably like literally changing your diapers and everything like that. So there's an inherent responsibility to give back. Otherwise, you're just a horrible human being, in my opinion.
You make a case for it, yeah, and they're never going to stop worrying about you. They're never, you know, assuming you have a good relationship, it's a lifelong thing. It's just, you know, there's a lot, it's a hard work for the first 18, 21 years or however long you end up staying at your parents' house. But after that, you're always going to be on their mind and stuff like that. So yes, please pay it forward to your family like that.
Yeah, 100%. So like, yeah, buying your dad's dream car. I mean, I'm just jumping ideas here because it's fun to think about the future, right? Buying your dad's dream car, buying your mom a house, paying her every month, put her on early retirement. My dad is just fine, because I got him into like crypto and he's been following my steps. So my dad is more than fine.
Nice.
Yep. Because he was also like an investor. He kind of got me into the investing thing. So that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the goal is just to give back, man. Because like, what would you rather have? Like a car that you buy for like 300 grand, or paying your mom 300 grand over like 30 months, 10 grand a month. Just think about how much happier option B makes you. Because when you buy things, you do it for selfish reasons. So selfishly, I feel a lot more happy giving the money to my mom than just buying a random car.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about.
I would feel, I mean, I've always been the type of person to do stuff like that too. And I think I would rather, instead of buying myself a Lambo or whatever, I think the first thing I would think of is, okay, I look around, who are my friends and family who are struggling, who, you know, I can do stuff for, and it's not going to come back like, oh, you know, so-and-so's rich now. No, I don't want that. But like who can keep a secret and be like, if I do something for you, can you just keep it between us? But I really want to, you know, help you. You know, if you're struggling, you need a car or something, I'll just go buy you a car. But you know, you bought it. It's not for me. I don't want you telling anyone about it. I don't want any credit. I just want to help you, because that makes me feel better than, you know, going by fancy jewelry and Lambos and stuff. So
I like that a lot. Yeah, because I think Rackham was it, the one that said it. Because when you do stuff like that, you have to be very careful, because that ruins relationships a lot of the time.
Yes.
So when you do it, exactly. So the thing Rackham told, which is kind of what I'm going to try and do, is when you give something to someone, you're like, hey, I have no expectations of this. It's just my gift to you. You do not have to pay it back. You don't have to say thank you. You don't have to do anything at all for me. But I just wanted to say thank you. This is for you. Don't think anything about it. You don't have to pay me back. You don't have to say thank you. You don't have to feel responsible to giving back to me. I'll do this once. This is not like an everyday kind of thing. Yeah, just setting the expectations up front. And I was like, that is incredibly smart, because then you don't damage the relationship.
Yes, it's so easy just to go, oh, I'm rich, I'm going to go buy everyone everything. You just set yourself up to have a lot less trustworthy family members and friends. You're about to see who your real people are, and I don't know if you want to see that. I think it's better if you just keep it on the DL. So yeah, think about those things. Bear market, learning, come up with your financial plan. Think about the things me and Jake just talked about, and then think about friends and family, people you want to help in the future, and relationships you don't want to ruin. Who do you value the most? Who needs help, but you can trust to do stuff for it, and you know they won't tell everyone and get everyone calling you all the time and text you, hey, I heard you, I'd really like to have all this stuff. Not saying you shouldn't help people like that that need it, but you don't want to be the celebrity. Don't become a celebrity when you get rich. That's my point. I had a question from Chad like 30 minutes ago. Sorry, Chad. I told him I would go back and get to it though. Do you think the bottom is in, Mr. Jake Sharpe?
Okay, so there's nuance to this question. Do I think the crypto market bottom is in? No. Do I think the HEX bottom is in? Potentially. Because the 95% correction from the top is 2.6 cents, and we've gotten very close to that point. And historically, 95% corrections have indicated a bottom. So if BTC drops to 11K, that's a 50% drop in BTC. If HEX goes another 50% drop, it might drop from like 5 cents and then end up on 2.6 cents. So the fact that Bitcoin puts new lows doesn't mean HEX has to put new lows, because 95% corrections are usually the end of corrections. Anything lower than 95% is usually the death of a project, which I don't think HEX will do that. But just
if it goes more than 95%,
exactly, like historically, 95% corrections are the bottoms. So for HEX, do I think the bottom is in? High probability, yeah. And then the BTC, the crypto market bottom, nah. 11K and pray. Because of this. Wait, let me go ahead and answer. I have to switch over the audio because even this died. Jesus Christ.
Oh, jeez. You got to start plugging your stuff in, man. I always plug my stuff.
Say something.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3.
Where does my sound work? Give me 1 second.
Sure. To everyone out there who your electronics keep dying, pro tip: plug them in at nighttime. Let them charge up.
I'm switching
phones, headphones, things like that, and they will usually work throughout the day unless you're just like crazy using them all the time. And if that's the case, get a wireless charger. They're much cooler than plugging it in. You're gonna ruin your connection, all that stuff. Wireless charging is game changer. But yeah, plug it in at nighttime. Just like make it part of your routine. You go to bed, you plug in your phone, you plug in your headphones, all that stuff. Save you some.
I'm gonna have to rejoin. Because apparently my audio works because I can hear music, but I cannot hear you. So I think it's a stream thing. I'll be back.
Yeah, stream already screws up. Yeah, come back. And Jake will be back here in a second. Let's go through the comments here. Sorry, it's been blowing up. I'm trying to get through them. Definitely Castle. Yeah, definitely Castle. With guards. That's what I was going to ask Jake too when he met Richard. And he went back in for the jacket. I wonder if there was like security too.
We're back.
All right, he's back. He's back.
Yep.
Hey, so somebody brought up Castle and with guards, and it made me think too. When you left your jacket, you go back in and talk to Richard. Were there like security there? Or like, did anyone like ask you like, "Hey, who are you?" and they like try to like gate you into him, or was it like kind of open?
Good question. That felt kind of open because I guess like hexagons are a security.
Yeah,
if anybody tried to touch Richard, I mean, we'll all be on him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I just always curious. Like, I wonder, like, does he when he walks around the streets taking all these fancy pictures, does he have like, guys with earpieces in on the corners? You can't see them, but they're like watching.
I would hope so.
I hope so too. I hope he has the best security money can buy.
Yeah.
But I never see it, and when I ask you, maybe it's not around everywhere. Maybe they're like hidden. And like they don't look at you as a threat. And they're like really good at their job. That's why you don't see them. Maybe that's the case.
Maybe, yeah. I've never thought about that actually. Yeah.
Oh, just going through the comments real quick. Bitfinesse can't give it. I think that was in response to my can't trade stocks anymore. Yeah, I hear you, Bitfinesse. 500x. Let's get out of the rat race. No slut shaming. Giving us curiosities. Fed, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Bottom two, a surprise. That's what I want to say. Mom, you don't have to worry about anymore. Yes, that's a great point, Root Dog. Mom, you don't have to worry anymore. I think everyone wants to tell her moms if you still got them around, you want to make sure they're comfortable because they did a lot of stuff to make sure you're here, and dads too, of course. But your parents, yeah, just be nice to your parents. What do you think about yieldification? Okay. Question from Andrew Dorian. What do you think about yieldification? Saying it has a concept from HEX, GMX scam. Yieldification. Have you heard of that?
I know OM and stuff like that. I hate these high APY DAOs. But so Richard kind of makes it very confusing when people ask them like, how does HEX pay out? It's a very simple thing. It just mints more HEX from the contract. The market gives value to the minted HEX. And that is given. It's the contract that gives money. It's not a middleman. It's just printing more coins. But he answered this in like such a roundabout way where it kind of sounds, even I get confused. But it's actually completely simple. It's an isolated contract. It prints more HEX. The market gives value to that because the HEX can be worth 0 and nobody would value it. And then at that point, the contract would still keep its promise. The HEX would just have no value. It's the market that determines the value of it. It's like in the real estate market. If there's 1 million houses and people add 100,000 more houses, well, people can decide whether or not there's value in those 100,000 extra houses. That's essentially all HEX does. It just prints it to its own contract.
But what if everyone sells their houses? What if they all sell their houses all at once? I love that it. It's so funny. It's going to go to 0. The houses are going to go to 0. It's so funny.
Yeah, and it's true. Like you say, same thing with bank runs on backs and everything like that. Yeah, that was also the big thing he taught me. I was like, damn, everything is like this.
Yes, he is the educator. HEX is Bitcoin with a proof of work exchange. There you go. Simple enough.
Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but like for normal people, they're like, I don't even know what the hell that means.
Yeah. I hear you. Happiness solving problems, giving to others. Like mom. There we go. Yes. Everyone call your mom today. If you haven't talked to her for a while, call her, FaceTime her. Tell her thank you. Show her around. Take her out sometime. I know it's not Mother's Day, but hey, you need to take care of your parents. Y'all have me think about my parents. Now I'm gonna go call them later too.
Yeah, I just sent a text message.
Yes, there we go. Good. This is good. Have you seen the TV show Billions? I've come across it, but I haven't watched it. No, not either.
I only watch TV with somebody else. I'm in this Airbnb for like a week now, and you have a massive TV, and I haven't even put it on once. I think once on like a date, and that was it.
Yeah. There's some shows. Okay, if you have Netflix on that TV, The Gray Man.
Yep.
I can recommend The Gray Man. It's great.
I like Peaky Blinders. I like Peaky. That's one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
And also Marvel stuff. I like Marvel stuff a lot.
Yeah, I like the Up to Infinity War. The new movies they've been making. A lot of woke in those. A lot of woke. I was very disappointed. Doctor Strange too. So
I talked about the stuff at Money Gang. Okay, you want to get into masculinity stuff, or do you want to focus on the topic?
Up to you, man. Up to you. I'm cool with it.
Okay, so essentially, when it comes to like these mainstream movies, have you ever noticed that? Okay, let's say you have a war movie and you have like Navy SEAL teams and stuff like that. Have you ever paid attention that back in the day, the men and like these badass men would be leaders of the group, and then now because of all of this wokeism, there's always like some skinny chick that can fight, like leading a group of like pure alpha, purebred warriors, Navy SEALs. I'm like, this does not make any freaking sense at all.
Yeah.
It's always the women that are leading now. It's almost never the men anymore. And if screws with like kids' brains. Yeah, it's weird.
It is interesting because I mean it's not just in the I can't think of a lot of examples from like actual like charging like Normandy scenes, like charging the beaches and stuff, but just there's a lot of like female only movies where like all the leads are female or all the cast is female, and they tend to not do so well. Like I don't know. You would think, I don't know who is funding like all these movies, and it's not even about them being female. It's just, these certain roles, you need masculinity. Sometimes you need femininity. Sometimes you need like the appropriate, they're making a new Game of Thrones, and people complain, oh, Game of Thrones is the previous one, it's all white characters. Who do you think were the people looked like back then? They had, they go to the desert scene, you got darker skinned people, makes sense. You go to the castles and stuff, you got lighter skinned people, makes sense. There's just not a lot of, other things going on there. So it's, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but it's just the Gray Man, great example. Yesterday I was watching with my wife, and we were like, oh wow, this movie's, it doesn't have all these things. There's not one of every person everywhere, like just forced diversity type stuff. And then we saw the next scene was with, okay, we counted all the different kinds of people. And then we're like, oh, but there's no Indians. And then the next scene was with the bad guy was Indian. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they did. But they did it in a way. It was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, if I'm counting, I don't like it as much. But if I'm not counting, it's not forced. It's like, okay, they can be this type of person. So I don't like it when they force it, when they force the type of stuff. They force all the characters to be female or minority or whatever the words are that they want to put, or whatever their gender is or whatever the stuff is. But if they do it in a way that's classy and makes sense within the story, that's fine. That's what everyone wants, right?
Yeah.
You want it to make sense in the story, but they just force it so much, and they lose money on the movies. So eventually, maybe the funding will dry up and they'll stop making bad movies. I'm hoping.
Yeah, we can go super deep on this masculinity stuff. So let's go back on the topic.
Yeah. We're going back.
I can talk about stuff forever. Yep.
We're going back. I'm going to put one on here from Kaiser. Hollywoke. Haven't heard that one. I like it.
Yeah.
You know what? All right, I'll say something on Captain Marvel. I like Captain Marvel. I was okay with that movie. I was okay with the original Captain Marvel movie. And the original Doctor Strange was fantastic. But Doctor Strange 2, it's a horrible train wreck of a story and all the other stuff we talked about too. Ghostbusters Tower getting a cup. Okay, all right, we're going to pivot back. What we got here? So yeah, I want to let's talk about how do we get. So okay, serious question. Timeline. We talked about 10,000x. We know it's possible with HEX. We know PulseChain is set up to be this super fundamental thing. We know PulseX. It's got all this crazy tokenomics to it. What actually needs to happen? Like, do we need to start at the bottom of a bear market with the launch? Like, what is like the scenario that gets us to and timeline for a 10x, 100x, 10,000x, 1,000x, whatever it is, with these two new products?
Good question. So when it comes to the 10,000x, I would be extremely surprised to see it happen in 2 years because of the sacrifice set. That was actually a lot of economic mass. So, okay, so here with PLSX,
$1 billion. Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, but like PLSX, for instance, the thing I like, why I'm still extremely bullish on it long term, even with the sacrifice set, is because let's say it does a 50x, and sellers start selling down. Well, guess what? You have this big buyer berry. K4K gave it the name, big buyer berry, that essentially just market buys based on the volume every time. So sellers sell, market buys up, and at some point, the sellers have sold 100% to the market buy back and burn. And sellers get exhausted. They lose all of their coins. You cannot sell into infinity, but a bot, he can buy into infinity as long as there's volume. So over time, over a very long period of time, the sellers all just get bought out of PLSX because of the intrinsic buy pressure. So with that, I think, so let's say we do a 250x in the first 2 years. Keep it extremely conservative. I think that's very reasonable. So 250x, well, from that point, on that price, it's only a 20x from that price point to get to 10,000x. So once you've done a couple of crazy multiples, like HEX is currently at I think 1,000x or something like that. I have to check the actual number. So if HEX does a 10x from here, it's back at its 10,000x mark. So it's not that crazy, to be honest. If it does a 250x in the first 2 years, it's only a 20x from that point. And Ethereum has done it. Ethereum went from
everyone hear that, by the way. Everyone hear that HEX, a 10x from here would be around the 10,000 x part. Like a lot of people, that needs to sink in. Like that's happened, and it's very obviously looking at the chart.
Right?
Could happen again.
we talk about it so normally now, but like
I know
that is absolutely bananas insane. That is exactly, it's just such a normal thing now. Yeah. So once it's done a couple multiples, it's actually very easy to get the multiple numbers up. I mean, I think Ethereum did like a 14,000x on its top, or something. It was something around that number, from like bottom to top.
Yeah.
No, if you go from bottom to top, it's actually more.
Yeah, bottom to top's always more than the usually the launch or the 1 month launch period, whatever you want to put on it.
Yep, exactly. So what's your take on it? What do you think, like time frame wise?
Yeah, a lot of economic energy. A lot of people who want to dump it immediately for some reason. Hopefully, a lot of that will be locked up in staking with liquid loans or whatever other projects going on. Yeah, I mean, I think 250x within 2 years. That sounds reasonable. It sounds conservative. I like conservative estimates. You don't get disappointed quite as much. Yeah, I guess. So you're thinking, 250x, a 5 or 10x from there, or 20x from there could get us around 10,000x. So is that 2 to 5 year, you think? After 2 years is when we get the opportunity for the 10,000x with PLS?
I think so. I just did the math for Ethereum. It's 16,000x. So if you base it off the 30-cent ICO price, the all-time low on the chart is 42 or 46 cents, if I remember. So it never got below ICO prices, Ethereum, but 30 cents, and the top was around 4,850, which is a 16,000x. Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
I'd like that. I like
it.
a
Always
16-hour.
harkens back to Richard saying, "But Bitcoin already did this. Ethereum all did this. Why can't Hex do it? Why can't PulseChain do it? These are real numbers, people. These are real numbers. Like it's, gosh, 16 down next would be nice. Yeah,
Add a zero to
it.
that.
Nice. I got a question here from X Blind Royalty X. Is there a plausible solution for PLSX similar to PLS liquid loans? Can you do it while also single-sided staking?
I would like it. I would like to have a liquid loans, something similar like that for PLSX. I don't like sharing it because if I would ever use it in the future, I have a very nuanced way of using it. I don't believe in leverage. Look at 3 Arrows Capital. The reason we had a double top is because of leverage. They take loans and they buy the top and then they get wrecked and they wreck everybody else with them. So I think we've had like enough learning lessons on like, don't leverage and buy more crypto. You're going to get wrecked. It's interesting. So with the liquid loans thing, so if you want, I can kind of share the rules because I think it's helpful for everybody. So essentially, you want to start your vault at a 40% dip. You also don't want to go in with more than 33% of your pulse back. So if you have a vault at minus 40% and it drops 90% during some kind of black swan event or whatever it might be, well, then you still have 66% to put into your vault and increase your collateral level. And then it basically has to drop like 97% from a 40% dip, which would essentially be death of the project. So that way you kind of protect yourself against liquidations. But here's the thing. A lot of people are going to go into liquid loans. They're going to think about, 1,000% collateral. They put it in the comments, 1,000% collateral. And then they'll see the numbers and they'll put like 200% collateral. Then they start leveraging themselves and, I'm so smart. And then 90% correction and they're wrecked. So I don't trust people keeping their word. Because when they see money, they get extremely greedy and then they make the wrong decisions and then they lose it. So
that's why we like smart contracts to make these things a little bit easier, less human error and human unforced errors in that way.
Exactly.
Cool. I got a question here. If you had to choose one, liquid loans or fiat?
Liquid loans. I don't like interest. Is fiat interest free? I haven't looked into it.
I don't know much about the project. I don't know.
Is it AAVE? AVE? That's such a stupid bad brand name, man.
You gotta hear. I hear Richard again. If you can't spell it, if you got if you gotta spell it for people, chat, help us out on the on does fiat have fees and stuff like that?
I think it does because AVE has fees.
AVE makes me think of Maeve from Westworld.
Come on, that name, guys, Jesus, and it's massive.
But there's 2 A's. It's a AA rated. Fiat has fees like AVE. Okay. Any more questions here? Cool. Yeah. Okay. That was liquid loan strategy. Like it. Yeah. Very good. So we talked about deflationary tokens, PLS. So that's circulating supply. Is that something you look at to be? We talk about market cap, vanity metric, all this stuff. Is circulating supply the way to determine how to be bullish on certain projects? Like, is it a big advantage for HEX because we know the OA has whatever 90% and stuff locked up. The stack phases, they're going to keep locking stuff. It's like this, like multiple stage locking up of we know the wallet's probably going to be locking up PLSX and probably more HEX and PLS, PLS and all this stuff too. Circulating, like how much does circulating supply matter when you're trying to determine a project and how bullish to be on it?
The only 2 things that matter in my opinion is how much circulating supply do you have in dollar value and what is the user adoption like when it comes to new users in to old users leaving the system. As long as there's more buying than selling going on over like a ratio over like a period of time and you have relatively low circulating supply, like anything under, it depends on how big the project is, but HEX would be under 100 to 200 million. I like that number.
Okay.
So circulating supply and user adoption are the only 2 metrics that matter in crypto. And so this is what a lot of people, and I think you've heard this before, what a lot of people get wrong about market cap is this breaks it completely. Did you know that every $1 that goes into Bitcoin adds $20 to its market cap number? Did you know that with HEX, it's roughly, so with HEX it's even crazier. Every new dollar into HEX adds $1,000 or more to its market cap. which means that crypto.
Wow.
Yeah, because so the way you kind of calculate it is, let's say a project has $1 billion as a market cap.
Mm-hmm.
So let me calculate it. So $1 billion in market cap, and it has a $10 million liquidity pool. That means there's a ratio between the market cap and liquidity pool of 100. So $1 new in that liquidity pool adds $100 to the market cap. So that here's then the next thing where you like crypto is actually an extremely immature market, because when you look at nomics, the global market cap for crypto is 1.1 trillion. But now that we know this is based on market cap, but now that we know these actual numbers of new dollars into the system, the true market cap of crypto is less than $200 billion.
Wow.
Of actual money going in.
Crazy to think about, because what does that mean for the amount of liquidity Bitcoin has, Ethereum has, and stuff compared to HEX? Like, does that just increase does that have to do with some of the volatility that goes into it too, and the liquidity and all that?
Yeah, you already know these answers.
Everyone else knows these answers.
Exactly. Yeah, the bigger the liquidity pool, the more economic mass you need to push up the price. It also means sellers have more power. But if you have a lot of like locked up stuff like with HEX, there's not much sellers, because it's almost all locked up, and the OA owns such a large supply that is locked up. That's never going to sell. I would not understand if it would ever sell. Because like here's kind of the thing. If you look through Richard Hart's book in Scivive, he talks about the 3 classes. He has like a worker class, capital class, and then he has assets in trust, loans against assets class, some weird name like that.
Yeah.
So my assumption is, and these are all assumptions, I obviously have absolutely zero clue, is I think the OA is some kind of entity, legal entity that Richard has absolutely no control over, that owns this OA. And then you can take life insurance against the value of that trust, and then they'll have the life insurance pay you monthly. And that way you never have to sell the assets, but you do have a monetary value attached to the assets, and that pays you a income every month. So he would never ever have to sell. And I'm not sure about the details of it, but I know that's a strategy a lot of people use, like Richard uses.
Wow, that would make sense, because it even saves him from himself in that way. It ensures the project has integrity. It ensures the glory that's on his roadmap is continuing on. Protects the price. It does everything he says he wants to do. So that's quite plausible.
Yeah, because I never thought about this. Also, like Richard Hart says this. What if Satoshi's son or like wife all of a sudden comes back to like finds this wallet and dumps everything? He like constantly has this like argument that he uses for Satoshi stuff. And knowing him with debating, he's like, okay, how can this argument be used against me, assuming that Richard is the OA? This is an assumption. If it's a trust, it is literally not Richard, well, in like legal terms. But yeah, that way, if it's a trust and they have like in the contract that they can never sell or whatever it might be, well, then he can give it to his family. They can have the upside of the life insurance and like the payments and stuff like that. I don't know the details, but that way it would never sell, and it would be like written down that the assets can never be sold. I just thought about that. It'd be interesting.
Well, so how do you? But for example, OA, didn't they claimed Hedron, right? They claimed the bonus, at least for Hedron.
The wallet. Yeah. Good point.
So somebody's been able to make moves with OA, and because I don't want to get into like where all the OA, the sister accounts and all that stuff too, but like someone's pressing some buttons at some point. If it's not Richard, I wonder if it is some kind of like benevolent whale who's just like, I mean, they know about crypto, they're trusted to do these things, but it still feels like he might have some control over the moves. But it's obviously, or I would think he wouldn't have the sell button. He couldn't just say, okay, sell it all. He wouldn't have that control. But it seems like, if he's going to be winking at projects, if he's able to wink at a project here and there that's using HEX derivatives, how do you reconcile that?
Yeah, as in a trust, you can still control the assets. So in like this whole like legal protection space, you have this saying where own nothing, control everything. Meaning that you never own the assets, you never own your house, your car. And I work with some like rich people, and this is how they have it set up. You have trust that own your car and have your house. Yep. So personally, you own nothing, but you control everything. And with the trust, you can control the wallet, and you can make moves with the wallet. So yeah, it's an interesting thing that you brought up. Yeah, I wasn't aware with the OA, like a Hedron claim. I didn't know that.
That was the thing. There's been a wink, and I wonder how many, because I talked about this with maybe Silvertooth or somebody I forgot the other day. But that's a sign that the OA, if you make a project and it turns out to be a scam or something, and the OA can claim a big portion of your coins, that's pretty good incentive to not scam people in our community if you're going to make a project like that, because the OA can it can make its opinion known if it thinks you're not doing so well.
Nice. I've never thought about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Man, we talked about so much good stuff. Do we have any questions in the chat? I looked through a couple times. I think they're just so laser focused on you talking, man. They can't think of questions right now.
How many views did we have, by the way? Because I can't see it on mine.
Yeah, I don't know why I noticed that yesterday as a money gang. I couldn't see how many people were watching. I was like, what kind of psychology goes into that? Is that a button you can turn on and off, whatever? We have 82 right now, though.
82? Holy crap.
82. Yeah.
Hey, come on, put some comments. Yeah, post 777 in the comments. Don't be lazy. Like RHMax and I are doing our jobs. We're putting our time on this. We're putting our reputation on the line. We're putting our face on the line. That is our job. Yeah. We're putting content on there. We're investing our time. Your investment is scrolling down, clicking that like button, and commenting 777 in the comments. And that way we push it. Exactly.
777. I like those are good numbers. Or if in the Eastern culture, 666. That's actually a very lucky number in China and otherwise. For any of our viewers out there.
777 is my favorite number by far.
So I like 11. I think about during the day when it's 11:11. It just makes me smile sometimes. There's twice a day you can see 11:11. If you see it on your alarm clock or your clock in general, it's going to be a good day. Use that for positivity. It's just a cool number to me. 1111.
Nice.
Launch for PulseChain. I'm not going to ask you when launch, but I do want to ask, would it make a difference? Would it be better to launch in September versus January? Pros and cons, trade-offs. What do you got?
So I don't think we have to time the bottom. I do think we have to be close to the bottom for the best price chart, because Richard was the one that said this. Like when you have a price chart and it launches and then it goes down because you're in a bear market and maybe you caught like a leg down on the entire market, it goes down 20%, well then Pulse could go down. But then you essentially create all of this resistance on the way up in technical analysis terms, because you have this trough. So you have all of these like buying zones and volume zones, which means you have to constantly break through resistance to make new highs. But if you launch at the bottom of the market or close to the bottom of the market, you could essentially have like a hockey stick chart almost, where you go up, and then you create natural resistance based on like the retrace of the pump. It's a lot better than just a downward chart that then goes up. So in that case, yes, for the price chart, but also with PulseChain, you do want to have time in market. So I think September is kind of the sweet spot. I tweeted this. I have a very, very, very strong gut feeling about September, and for absolutely no reason at all. Zero reason. But it's like a strong gut feeling. Like September is like, it's nice. I like September.
It's a nice date, 9/22. It sounds good. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say it goes into, you think the sweet spot September. What if we go into January, February, March? What are the I guess advantages of doing that?
Yeah, protection against the downside of the macroeconomic cycle. I like that because I like it. Because with new projects, PLS and PLSX are new projects, we are kind of protected against the chaos of the world, because we have the new project narrative, and a new project by definition cannot be correlated to the market because there's nothing to be correlated to. There is no history.
Right.
So I wouldn't be mad if it launches at January, because after every major correction and downturn in all macro markets, things go back up always. So that's why I'm not worried at all. World War II, I was going to say World War III, no. But World War II, you had like the...
Are you one of those conspiracy theorists? There's only one world war so far.
Then you have COVID and all of these like massive events that have happened in the world. Like this is crazy. Like during the World War II, like it dipped very hard and then it just literally recovered throughout the entire World War. It's wild.
Yeah, that's what people, I don't know why they get all these emotions of like, oh, it's market's going. Every time I see the market going down, I usually make very little decisions, because I've either already made my decisions and I'm gonna hold, or I've already sold, or I'm gonna do whatever long term and I'm happy with it no matter what the market's doing half the time, or I'm just like, who cares? I'm staked. Who cares? I'm on a longer time horizon. Who cares? It's going to go back up. It always goes back up. It's so easy to have an emotional response to these charts and to the news and to all this stuff. And I'm just like, just stop having an emotional response to everything you hear and see. Just, first principles thinking, go back. Does this actually make sense? Have I made the best moves already? How does it affect me? Does it affect me? It probably doesn't. Probably doesn't if you made some good moves so far.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Got a couple questions here. Questions heated up now from the boss man. What type of APRs will be available from staking?
So I think the best guess we have is looking at historical things, which are PancakeSwap and SpookySwap, because they have the exact same single site staking mechanic. SpookySwap is currently 20% plus, like 27, 28%. And then PancakeSwap is currently 10 to 15%. And these are bear market numbers. Like in the bull market, PancakeSwap, like single site staking pools were like 58% on the high. So I think anywhere between, it's crazy. So like 10 to 58% is kind of the range I see based on bear or bull. Unless, that's the best guess we have because we don't know.
Gotcha.
What do you think?
I don't know, man. I 20 to 50%. I don't know. I think I'm really interested in the third-party tokens and seeing how the kind of gamification from them and how just talking about PulseX on that staking side a little bit. Yep. The third party, everyone says, "Oh, it's going to dump my third." I was talking to David Feeder. "Oh, I'm going to dump third party. Why would I keep them? Why would I keep them?" And I was like the other side. I'm like, well, for them to have value, they can't just be dumped all the time. So unless we have a third-party token OA somewhere who's just shielding the supply and just soaking all this stuff up, and maybe that's a thing, I don't know. Like they got to have some value. Not everyone will be dumping them. So yeah, you can like obviously they are the brunt of they will be the brunt of the dumping. Like you want to get more. You don't want to sell the PLSX, so you're getting this other token, blah blah blah. But it really depends on, hey, maybe this token is, something part of some club or something that you want to be a part of. And maybe it means something to you for the meme world, or maybe it means something that it gets you access to other sacrifice phases, or, this whole creating a sacrifice set based on another sacrifice set of a community that has some synergy. It's not going away anytime soon. So I could see third-party token not just being the dump forever token. It could be like, ooh, I don't know if I want to dump this, and which makes price go up. So the people who do dump it are going to get a better price. So I deviated away from APRs a little bit because that was like the current thought on mine. Yeah, how much you're going to make from it? I don't know. Jake's better answer on that one, I think.
Yeah, good money.
It's a good time to be alive. That's the answer.
Sir, yes, sir.
PulseSafe says, what would be the difference between PulseChain forking ETH pre-merge and post-ETH merge?
So with the merge of Ethereum, it doesn't matter at all. There is zero difference. I don't like it. I think a lot of people think that it's like this mythical thing where, oh yeah, the Ethereum will have the merge and my user experience will be magically very different. But it's the exact same. You're going to pay more gas fees probably because the Ethereum price is going to go higher. There's zero work. Because the higher the Ethereum price goes, so if the merge bumps Ethereum prices, you're going to pay even more in gas fees because it's a unit of account and for the gas fee. So I would actually there's no downside to launching after ETH 2.0 because a lot of people are going to realize, wait, this did absolutely nothing for gas fees. So PulseChain is an even better solution because a lot of people are like that don't know the technicalities of everything. Because even the Ethereum devs came out and like, hey guys, this changes nothing about the gas fee. It's about the issuance of Ethereum and like switching from proof of work to proof of stake. So Ethereum will be less inflationary. That is good for Ethereum. But it doesn't change anything about the bidding situation for blocks and gas fees. So I think a lot of people are going to get that bubble burst and realize, oh shit, like the gas fees are still wrecked, which will give a strong narrative for PulseChain, in my opinion. Because the sharding for Ethereum is like, I think the last update we had was Vitalik, and that was like 6 years away. So in like Ethereum language, probably like 9 to 12 years. Because they have that own language when it comes to
sharding and dank sharding as well. If anybody wants to, I actually did a video on that with Fashion Coder maybe a month or two ago. Check out YouTube for RHMax dank sharding if you're interested in technical details. Very interesting, very promising technology. Said
dank sharding
6 to 9 years away. Yeah, it's just like a further improvement on sharding. I don't have the top of my head to actually be able to coherently explain it to you right now because I did a bunch of research a month or two ago. But it's like another form of sharding, which parallelizes things even further and all this stuff.
Nice.
And I know I hated the name at first, like, dang, why'd you guys name it dank sharding? So dumb. And then I read that one of the guys involved with it, his last name or something is dank. I was like, oh shit, okay, never mind, it's fine. It's actually named after a person. I'm not gonna shit on your name, person. So, but I thought, it's like one of those millennial, oh, this sharding is so dank, that kind of thing. That was my first guess. I was like, why?
Yep.
Relax Family says, nice name, by the way. I do like to relax and I do like family. What about Mt. Gox effect on Bitcoin?
Supply shocks matter. So I think, yeah, it will have some effect. And even the counter argument is, because I always like playing devil's advocate and like debates. It's like when it comes to the Mt. Gox effect, let's say there is a large entity that wants to buy those coins up so that they don't go on market and they don't get sold. But Richard was the one that said this, like even if it's like 3 big guys selling or 1 million people selling, the order books don't care. They care zero. The price is going to go down. So as long as anytime you have a supply shock effect, where a lot of supply comes on the market, it's usually very bearish for the price. Same thing with like big payday for HEX and also with like the PulseChain, like the doubling of the supply. Will probably have a similar effect because this is just what happens with supply shocks.
We talked about
it's going to be interesting
too. We talked about this on the panel about that, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to get dumped. I don't know. Maybe they won't.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. Just the assumption is yes, because I wouldn't know why not.
Well, maybe. Yeah, it's a whole other big discussion, but yeah, it depends. I guess it depends on who goes there, if it goes to a bunch of the people getting their coins back. They're going to make different decisions than institutional people who may hold the coins. What if the lawyers are like, hey, we'll give you 10% or 20% more cash. We'll buy the coins from you. We'll put it into, a vehicle that we know how to invest with, and they make a ton of money off of it. Who knows how that's going to shake out?
Maybe.
Gox coins aren't given back to people and used to value at the time.
I read that, but there's no confirmation. If that is true, it's not going to matter. But we have no confirmation on like the actual like logistical details.
Yeah, it's hard to do anything to speculate.
There's more than just Mt. Gox. You have like when it comes to supply shocks, you have Mt. Gox, you have so Richard brings up 3. You have Mt. Gox, you have Ross Ulberg, the Silk Road guy, his coins, and then you have the Bitfinex seizure. Apparently, the US wants to sell those coins as well. So you have 3 more big supply shock events. I'm not sure. I think it was like 70,000 for Bitfinex, around that number. Don't quote me on it. Ross Ulberg, I don't know. Mt. Gox like 140K roughly. Bitcoin, which is like $3 billion.
$3 billion. Wow. 140K. Yep. Well, at current prices could be like 500 bill soon, or not soon. Could be 500 bill in the future when they dump at the next high. Or oh god, I don't want to think about 3 supply shocks. Ooh.
It's interesting, man. I don't. How okay? This is an interesting question, man. Everybody kind of stay on the live stream. So when it comes to like Bitcoin, how high do you think Bitcoin can go in 10 years or 20 years?
I don't think it'll ever go above 500K. I think just pulling the number out, I can't see $1 million Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin. I see other cryptos going nuts, but I can't see $1 million Bitcoin even in 10 or 20 years. I just think it'll be institutionalized away.
I agree. So the kind of reasoning for that is like, I'm not sure, because like with the whole Bitcoin ETF situation and stuff like that, I think that. So here's kind of a thing that not a lot of people think about. A lot of these like secondary markets, like Grayscale Bitcoin, Bitcoin ETFs, stuff like that. When people buy Grayscale Bitcoin, it's paper Bitcoin. It does not push up the market price. It's a secondary market. So if $1 billion goes into that, it does not push up the Bitcoin price. So the more secondary markets you get and the more traditional adoption you get, the more the price gets dampened because there's no more buying of the actual asset. So the bigger Bitcoin gets and the more traditional adoption it gets, the less and less and less and less the gains are going to be. So I think it's at some point it's just going to get capped, and I think it's going to get overtaken by Ethereum, and then we're going to have a narrative shift where just like, hey, Bitcoin is no longer the thing, so it's not going to cap the crypto market because Ethereum got extremely close last cycle. So next cycle is
almost a flipping, very very close.
Exactly. So I think the crypto market is just going to shift. Bitcoin is no longer going to be number one. There's almost 100% chance of that happening.
What do you mean? Is Solana going to be number one?
Nah. So
They're working on some real cool tech over there, man. Real cool tech. I like crypto or Money Game Crypto said, yeah, Solana works 9 to 5.
Yeah, I like that.
You crack me up.
Yeah, they need to put opening hours on the website.
Yeah. Sorry, currently closed. 0 days since last node down. Oh god.
So God damn it! I know what happened with Solana, but I cannot say it on stream for risk of getting sued. Yeah, I heard it somewhere, and I cannot confirm because I think they'll put lawyers.
Okay.
It's basically just extremely bad tech design of one of the wallets on Solana, allegedly. Try suing me now.
Yeah. Allegedly. He said allegedly. No expectations of what he's saying.
It's very bad. It's retarded what they did. Absolutely retarded. I'll say it after the stream, like just to you.
Okay. Yeah, I speculated a couple times the last couple of days when everything was hot. Having a security background, I can imagine the type of things they're doing and how they screwed up. But yeah, we'll talk about it.
Allegedly screwed up.
Yeah. It was like January, I think. The first to the project RFIP. Yes. Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I'm not as deep into team September, October. I mean, October is what I've been sticking with, but I'm not as committed to October as I used to be in the last couple of weeks of just talking to other people and just like getting a more perspective and stuff. I'm like, man, that documentary, he's been very firm. Documentary in January 2023. Maybe
apparently it's end of year. They changed it.
End of year. Oh, I'm sure he'll fluctuate a little bit on that too, but. Maybe that's been the Easter egg the whole time. Maybe that's been the Easter egg.
I mean, they think about it from like a game theory perspective. If PulseChain launches together with the documentary, it would actually be extremely good for new people getting in. Because imagine you watch a documentary and then you have the ability to buy the actual thing that the documentary was about at the beginning stages of the thing. I would understand why he would do that. I think it's a beautiful play, but it's annoying. For sure. Think
about what Richard, he says all the time. I'm not here for you. You're already in. I'm here for the new people. What is the best move he could possibly do for new people? Launch PulseChain after showing his amazing story from fixing air conditioners to multi-billionaire, right? That's the best.
That's a crazy story.
That's a crazy story. Yep. So none of us wants that to happen. None of us wants to wait any longer, but just keeping it real. January don't sound too crazy no more to me. 99. We almost hit 100. 99. Watch it a second ago.
Nice.
Yeah. PulseX. Ever do 100x? We kind of covered that. I mean,
yeah.
Yes. That seems likely we covered that. Yeah. High is testnet. High is testnet PulseChain.
It's such a funny question.
I'm gonna reword it a little bit for you. You don't sound like an English speaker, so that's okay. Is there a testnet for PulseChain? Yes, there is. Yes. You can go try it out. Be kind. Everyone be kind.
Correct.
Let's go. Inner Circle. Yeah, what's up? You brought a lot of people, man. You brought Rob Dixon here, 777.
Yeah. Rob is awesome.
Got Paris here. What do you think Impact has? Yeah, good question, boss man. We literally, and we kind of covered it. I wouldn't get your Netflix hopes up. Especially they need to buy it. So we're going, again, just being real, we're going to Netflix and saying, we have a movie for you. It's obviously much more in their best interest to buy it than you, but we're going to try to sell the shit out of it to you. And that's great. And I know we'll put the best pitch out there possible, but I wouldn't get my hopes up for Netflix. I think we'll have distribution at some point, a good distribution, but Netflix, I mean, that's their 10,000x dream. I think, I mean, when I say 10,000x dream, 10,000x within 2-year dream. Think about that kind of, analogy. What do you think, Jake? You think we're going on Netflix?
Netflix would be insane. I think that would be crazy.
I mean, maybe like
what else do you
Plus
have
or something, right? Like, we don't have to be Netflix. It can be like another popular streaming service. We don't need, a billion people to see it. If we have 1 million people, if we have 5 million people see it, I think that's enough to like get this rocket going again.
Yes. Because you also have to think about if 1 million people see it and like maybe 5% of them convert. So that's like 50,000 people. Then you have 50,000 people that tell a friend. That's like 100,000 people. A friend tells a friend tells a friend tells a friend. And before you know it, you're like at 50 million. The word of mouth effect in crypto is absolutely insane. Like when you're in crypto, you talk about crypto, and you talk about the stuff that you like. It's almost a given.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, one more question, man, then we'll get you out of here. I got to ask about the PulseChain wallet. So what will the sacrifice phase do for the wallet? What will it do to HEX, PLSX? I want to go to the price angle. What will the wallet sacrifice do for the coins that are already existing?
Yeah, you touched on this. So essentially with the wallet, I'm extreme game theory wise, it will be extremely smart to launch it after PulseChain launch and close to after PulseChain launch, like a month or two, maybe 3 after, because then you can get the most amount of supply because the dollar value of the coins are going to be a lot lower. The most amount of supply locked away in some kind of away wallet that will never sell. So essentially the moment it goes into a sacrifice balance, all the coins that are HEX, PLS, and PLSX, we could assume based on historical performance that account will never sell. So it's essentially supply that gets removed off of market forever. So I would be extremely bullish. And the wallet itself, there's some cool things that can be done with the wallet. I like it. But the other thing is also that you have the other angle of it is it's extremely hard to onboard people into a new wallet. That's probably the hardest thing you could attempt to do in crypto.
Everyone loves MetaMask. That's true.
Correct. Yeah, including me. I like MetaMask a lot. I would never use another wallet. Yeah, like onboarding people into a new wallet is absolutely insanity. I mean, he would have to have some kind of strong value proposition for people to be like, yeah, I'm switching over to this wallet because I'm not doing it just for Richard. So it has to have some functionality that I'm like, okay, I 100% need this.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier too about staking. So what if, we mentioned PLS staking. I wonder if there's other ways other than liquid loans, things like that. What if the wallet enables PLS staking? What if it has a staking feature in it or some kind of, fee, because MetaMask, they take a fee for ETH and stuff like that. So I wonder what kind of tokenomics, have you thought about the tokenomics around what the wallet's going to do and actually bring to the ecosystem other than not having to switch the network, to PulseChain from MetaMask?
Yeah, correct. So the PulseChain wallet, I'm almost 100% certain that will have like an internal swap feature. So MetaMask fee, I think, is currently like 0.8%. Don't quote me on it, but it's a lot higher than Uniswap. Like Uniswap is 0.3%. MetaMask is 0.8% unless they reduced it, roughly. So the swap fee, I think if it has a buy and burn mechanic similar to PulseX, it could have a value proposition where it would have a coin and the swapping that happens within the wallet could buy back and burn the actual wallet coin. So that would be a good tokenomic. I'm not as bullish on it as like PLSX or PLS. But I think it's still going to be fine. It's going to be one of the better coins tokenomic wise still, if he chooses to do something similar to that. Because if it has a capped supply and it has a buyback and burn, pretty cool. I like deflationary tokens.
And I love how each product has the product market fit. It has utility. It solves a problem in the ecosystem. It keeps you in this shiny object of Richard Hart stuff. The price go up. It keeps you in there. You're having fun. You're trading. You're staking. You're doing whatever. And there's just more products built around this, walled garden, kind of like an Apple ecosystem, but for RH stuff. So the utility of the tokenomics, I think obviously Richard, he hasn't failed us yet for tokenomics. So I think that they'll be massive too. And I can't wait to hear more about it. I mean, first we need the PLS. We need to have the PLS so we can sacrifice it. That's the thing. It has to come afterwards. So
I think HEX, so as well.
How many sacrifice phases do we have to lock up more HEX supply? It's just bullish for HEX. No one's talking about that. It's bullish for HEX, these new sacrifice phases.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, yeah, because there's a hell of a lot of supply removed from the market. A hell of a lot.
So much, man. So much.
Yep.
Cool. Well, everyone,
if you want to stay on, I can stay on. But this is good.
Well, yeah.
Depends on if you have any more stuff.
I think I'm pretty much hit the end of the list. And I mean, is there something you want to talk about? Is there anything you're passionate about you want to talk about before we get on?
I have this thing I'm building, but I have this rule that I don't promote on other people's channel just out of respect because I wouldn't appreciate it myself.
Hey, but when rules on my channel are the guests who come on can promote whatever they want because you're my guest. So I don't promote other things. I don't monetize. I don't have sponsors things, but guests in my show can say whatever they want because you're a guest. So hospitality. Okay. So do whatever you like.
I'm kind of building this cash flow for life thing to onboard a lot of people into crypto and make them do it correctly. Because kind of think about it, I think a lot more HEX people should do this, because once we gain like mainstream adoption and we get a lot of people coming in on PulseChain, there needs to be some kind of place where people can come and they can get the right training on crypto. Because, dude, I hop on so many calls with people because I talk with everybody on Zoom. I'm like, if I don't think it's the right decision for someone, I'm like, this is not the right time. This is not the right decision. I am not taking your money. Go away. So Hexicans are the best educating community in all of crypto. We are so damn smart compared to all of crypto, where we need some kind of training thing. Because think about it, I've had like 20 calls where people literally came on calls and told me, yeah, I invested like a couple of grand with this guy to get access to his trading group and I lost all of my money. This is a very, 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 very common story and I hate hearing it. So if we as Hexicans would come out and start like training people, or because like I am the type of guy where like if I like somebody and I like their style, I'm like, okay, what can I buy from them? That's the instant thing that I go to, because I'm like, I don't want their free stuff. I'm like, okay, how can I talk to this guy? Like I literally paid the guy like, exactly. I paid a guy like $5,000 because I'm like, okay, this guy is smart at sales and building sales teams. So like, can I pay you to kind of teach me? Because like we pay for lawyers, we pay for personal trainers, we pay for all of this stuff. But then when it comes to like money stuff, people are like weird when it comes to like paying for education. Like it doesn't make any sense. If you need law advice, you go to a lawyer. If you need medical advice, you go to a doctor. So I think Hexicans, we are the best community that built this in crypto. And that way, everybody also kind of has like a business model around their channel and you can scale it. Like, for instance, I pay $2,500 a month for my YouTube team. And I can do that because I have a business model behind it, you know? And if you treat it like a business, we can onboard more people. Because I talk to a lot of people that are not yet in our ecosystem and I'm reaching them because I'm able to expand our reach and I run ads and stuff like that. So I'm a big believer in that. I think it's a beautiful business model, especially guys like us, because in the Hexicon community, we have strong ethics, we have strong moral values. We're not going to rip people off. We're not going to scam people. But the thing is, if they're not buying from guys like us in the Hex community, I think Wales only has this thing as well now. And I saw it. I'm like, okay, good. Because I'd rather have people learn from Wales than from these paid trading groups where they lose all of their money and the guys don't care about them. And a lot of the time they're anonymous and they steal all of their money and then they run off and they spend it on supercars and they don't care and they're wrong people. And you kind of understand where I'm coming from, right? Oh, yeah. I think the Hex community has a massive opportunity, especially with PulseChain coming up. We're doing a lot of stuff with education. These YouTube channels are incredible, man. Incredible.
If you provide value for society, you'll be rewarded. There you go. There's, that not all paid education is the same for sure. You hit it. I think a lot of people are skeptical about stuff like that. So the more knowledgeable people, the more people we can get in Hex, get in RH products and keep in here. And I think, like I said, you provide value, society will reward you. That's the way the world's supposed to work. That's the way it should work too.
Yeah, and like the perfect example is Dollar Cost Crypto, Miguel, because we have the same YouTube team. I mean, these guys have done immense things for the Hex and PulseChain ecosystem. These guys are onboarding like crazy, like people outside of our community. It's Miguel is a G, man, and so is Charlie. I'd
love to have those numbers. I'd love to see, we have the holders numbers. Oh, well, okay. Well, let me tell you the angle, and then we'll see if you have some data on this. So
I won't share it for privacy reasons for them.
Okay, no worries. I was just thinking, you can see the number of holders on Etherscan and CoinMarketCap, maybe Nomics and stuff too. You can see the chart, and you can see it go up and all that stuff. It'd be nice to have like the more granular version, like, YouTube gives you analytics for where people come from, all this stuff. It'd be nice to see which ones came from all the different Hexicans and like which new holders actually came from these things. If we could tag them and get those numbers, that would be crazy to see and see, these people need more help or these are doing the most. I'd love to see those numbers. I don't know if we ever get that. I don't know if they'll ever be public, but that would be cool to see.
That would be amazing. 100%.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to prep up. I got round 2 today. Y'all, I don't say you're lucky, but today I'm going full steam ahead. Friday, double header. Jake came in the morning, swinging, heavy hitting. Jake came in. We covered a lot of cool topics. What I'm going to talk about with Dixon Piper later. I don't know. I got complete. He's like, he's a chart master. We're going to talk about that kind of stuff. But we got Jake in the morning, killed it this morning. Chat, you were crazy. Thank you for coming. Come back later when I'm on with Dixon too, if you want to get some more streaming and more Hex and RH content. Check Jake out. NK Knows at NK Knows on Twitter.
Yeah, just Jake Sharpe is my YouTube channel. You can find my Twitter in the description there. I think it's a better way to do it.
Yeah, maybe just go. Yeah, find him on YouTube. Cashflowforlife.io is his website as well. I checked it out. Pretty interesting. And then me I'm at RHMaximus, just the way it sounds. Cannot misspell it. At RHMaximus on Twitter. Sub on the YouTube. Hit the like. Hit subscribe. Go to Jake. Check out his content. We're out here doing the Lord's work. The Lord, if your Lord is Richard Hart. If you pray to him, whoever you pray to, we're out here trying to spread the gospel of the good at crypto. That's what we try to do here.
You're working very hard, man. I watch your channel. You're putting out a hell of a lot of content. I mean, respect, dude. You're doing it correctly.
I found a niche. I found the most frictionless, most ROI way I can do it. And I'm not saying I'm going to put out 2 or 3, 4 videos a day forever, but right now I'm grinding. And trying to have that utility, like we said, full circle, trying to have utility in the community. I don't want to just be, I was passive for 5 years. I didn't say anything for 5 years. I didn't talk with the community. I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have YouTube, nothing like that. I just watched, invested in kind of products, things like that. But now I'm like, I can do more. I can do better. I have security skills. I do security AMA. I could host, I can get guests on if people want to come on the show and talk and like really learn together. So have utility out there. One thing in advice, you want to pump your own bags. You want to be a better person, health, wealth, wellness, mentally, physically, have utility. Find your niche and go out there and kick some ass.
Dude, you're going to blow up. Moment PulseChain launches, I think the channels are going to grow like insane.
I did launch in a bear market, so I'm a compound interest. I'm hoping it kicks in. I'm certainly hoping so.
So yes,
cool,
sir.
Man. It's been a pleasure. Everyone, again, go to Jake's channel, sub, hang out, sub on mine, and check me out on Twitter. And we'll see you all in a few hours. We are out.